right, so let's get into talking about how real estate agents can effectively reach out to for sale by owners. And we're going to start off with doing some discussion of statistics in regards to FSBOs. All right, we talked about this earlier. This is a 2020 result, but this says FSBO sellers represented 8% of all homes sold in 2020. Now, 2022 was 10%, so a little bit of an uptick, better market, right? But here you go, still 8% of all homes sold in 2020. From 1981 to 2020, FSBO sales dropped from 15% of all sales to 8%. So as technology advanced, so you think 1981 to 2020, the percentage of for sale by owners went from 15 to 8%. So what does that tell you? It tells you that even though technology was getting rampant, things were happening, it actually created probably more confusion. So it drove more people into the real estate agents' pockets. So realize that technology sometimes is a disruptor in the opposite effect, right? FSBO homes sold for an average of 5.5 to 26% less than comparable homes listed on the MLS. 73% of buyers think either themselves or their agent could out-negotiate a FSBO seller. All right, 61% of FSBO sellers are trying to save money. That's one of the major reasons that they go for sale by owner. So keep that in mind. Go back to what I just said, though. The selling price was 5.5 to 20% less than comparable homes listed on the MLS. Okay, 37% are trying to save time, which is a funny statement. 36% are confident they can sell without an agent. An estimated 25% of home sellers in the U.S. tried and failed to sell FSBOs. So we're talking about a success rate of like 8% in 2020 or 10% in 2022 of actually selling their home. An estimated of 25% of all for sale by owners in the U.S. tried to do it and failed. So it's a high percentage of failure. Just to put this in perspective, the average time that an agent has a property that does not sell in this current market is 10 to 1. So if you have 10 listings, about one of them is not going to sell. So that's not 25%. So your success rate is way above that percentage. 10 to 35% took advice from a real estate agent. So those for sale by owners that were listing their home had a realtor friend or someone they called still asking for advice from you guys. 46% of FSBO sellers didn't market their home. So out of those 8% or 10%, I'm sorry for all the percentages, 46% of those sellers didn't market their home. So the question is like, A, the market is really good. They probably just didn't have to. And B, they don't know how to. They don't know where they're supposed to post these things. They have to go out there and manually post it on all these sites, right? All right. Among sellers who already knew the buyer, 68% didn't actively market their home. Among sellers who did actively market their home, 25% used a yard sign and 24% used a third-party aggregator. They're not really very good at marketing their properties. That's what we're finding out here. All right, 19% of buyers said they didn't know where to find FSBO listings. So there you go. A lot of the buyers out there have no idea even where to look for them. So when they were asked, they have no idea. All right, FSBO accounts for 1.3 to 12.7% of home sales, depending on the market. So depending on where you are, it can be as low as 1.3%, 12.7%. Some of these statistics are going to help you kind of understand pain points that a FSBO has in trying to sell their home. One being price. The other one, they wanted to save time, right? The idea is that a majority of them wanted to save time. Well, ask yourself, are they actually saving time? Because we all know how many inquiries do we get on a property before we get a showing? How many showings do we do before we actually get a contract? And then does every single contract we initially write go all the way to closing? And if it doesn't, do we have to go back to the table and do all of that all over again? So who is doing all that work outside of the seller if they're marketing their home by themselves? Just them. Then on top of that, we talk about the percentage of lost income by them by selling their home less. Let me tell you this. There is an assumption on every single buyer when looking at it for sale by owner. One, they're saving money but not having to pay a commission. That's an immediate negotiation point that a buyer is going to know. So then two, when they go in to negotiate, guess what they do? They negotiate based on that percentage. So they're immediately coming in below that amount. So when you start talking about the percentage of homes sold at a certain price, the for sale by owners are typically selling below what market value would be. On the real estate agent front, we have a property listed. We've priced it just right because we're really good at pricing properties and we have a lot of data to go on and we can build an amazing CMA. We know what to price that home at. We then, on top of that, market the home everywhere out there for that seller. Then we get qualified buyers coming into the property to look at it. So we actually don't have as many disruptions inside of the seller that they would get on their own because now we've got qualified buyers only. So really the amount of inquiries, the amount of showings that we actually have to do is a whole lot less. So they're not as inconvenienced even with us showing the home. Keep that in mind. So then we bring the buyer in, we got a qualified buyer in most cases. And then how many times we have to write a contract, statistically speaking? Maybe once, because we've done our due diligence. We've marketed the home effectively. We priced it right. So we know that as a matter of fact, we push back against the buyer and say, hey, we know we got it priced right. So we push back and we negotiate. And then the seller and the buyer can't get emotions involved because why? They're not communicating. They have to go through their real estate agent. So emotions are devoid of the whole conversation. There's no sob stories going on. We're able to address the facts and the facts only to maximize their profit. So there's a lot of pain points inside of this. So a lot of the complaints that for sale by owners are having are the very ones that we address just by doing our jobs. What is the steps as far as for sale by owners are concerned? Step one, I would say this: research and preparation. It is very, very important of you guys to get out there and gather every bit of information you can about a certain property that you're trying to acquire. Start by researching online, like platforms like Zillow, Redfin, any local real estate postings you may see, like on Facebook. Look for properties that have been listed as FSBO. So you can type in FSBO or type it all out, for sale by owners, those type of things. Do a Google search, put the city name in there. Begin to pull things up and pull all the data you can. Go to public records and pull that data. Look at the stats, look at the sales prices. Really, really, really get into the weeds there, into the data on that property that you're trying to go after. Pay very particular attention to property history. And that means in regards to any recent sales in the entire area. If it's a subdivision, look at recent sales in that area. Analyze the current property's condition. What is the condition of that property? So if you have a solid understanding of the market, the condition of the home, you'll have a strong foundation going into any kind of cold touch that you plan on making with a for sale by owner. You're coming in equipped. So very step one is research and preparation. Make sure you have all that in place. Step two is going to be a compelling value proposition. So what is it that you actually provide that seller? Now, at the very beginning, I gave you all kinds of pain points that for sale by owner has. You need to go back and ask yourself that question. Am I good at all of those categories? Can I get better at those kind of categories? And if I can get better at those categories, can I offer that as a value back to the consumer? Now that you have the information about the property, it's time to craft that compelling value proposition. What you need to do is think about things that set you apart from other agents. Are you known for your outstanding negotiation skills? Do you have a proven track record of selling, of getting property sold quickly, particularly in that area or in the city? Perhaps you have access to a vast network of potential buyers. Maybe you've got very good communication with your team members inside of your office, and you know what buyers they have, right? So make sure your value proposition directly addresses the FSBO's potential pain points. All right. Step three is the I would say approach. I'm gonna say in-person approach. I do think that that's a better way of doing it. A lot of people do not like to do cold calls and those type of, I'm sorry, not cold calls, but door knocking. They don't like to do door knocking, so they'd rather like do a cold call or send an email or leave a note or those type of things. And I understand that. But that's really not the best way to convert a for sale by owner. They have pain, right? They want to sell their house, they want to do it, and they have a lot of agents knocking on their doors. I understand, but you do need to kind of get over that. It is really the most effective way to convert a for sale by owner is to establish that personal connection at the beginning. So when you do visit the property, though, be sure to dress professionally. Approach the owner with a friendly and confident demeanor. Know what your value is. Go in head held high. Know exactly what it is that you are offering that consumer. Understand their home. Understand the market. Be confident. It's very, very key that you are confident when you knock on that door. You are the professional. You have the answers to help them with their problem. That's the goal here, right? But be friendly and cordial and very engaging, asking them probing questions and those type of things. Start by introducing yourself and complimenting the property. Okay. If you know a lot about the property, that's fine. And you might just hate the property and you might see all kinds of problems with it. And you might say, if I had this listing, this is what I would change. I think we would all agree that's not the best way to start a conversation. So be sure to compliment the property at first. Okay. After a little bit of small talk, segue into discussing how you might be able to help them achieve what they're ultimately out to do, sell their home. Here's just a brief little script for you. In-person script would be something like this. Hi there, I'm Adam Gullett with Century 21 Advantage Realty. I've been helping families find their dream homes for 15 years. I noticed this beautiful property and I thought I could bring some interested buyers your way. With my research on how to price properties effectively, combined with my marketing expertise, I would say include a few, value propositions here, some things that you can help them address. So my marketing expertise or my pricing, my understanding of the market and what prices could be, I can help you secure a great deal while saving you time and stress. What do you say we team up for a win-win situation? And that might be too forward. Maybe you could just tone it down even more and say, look, I'm in the area. I'm really wanting to know everything I can about certain properties. I see that you're trying to sell your house. Yes, I'm a real estate agent and I'm very much aware that you are getting probably inundated by a bunch of real estate agents asking to list your home. My goal here is just to kind of learn more about you, kind of what your goals are, see how I might be able to help. Then you could insert some of your value propositions there. Again, the goal here is focus on them. Focus on them. If you want to talk about your value proposition, that's fine, but just make it quick and short and get right back to what it is that they're trying to do. And ask them, hey, so I'm just kind of curious, have you had some success? Is there any struggles going on? Is there anything I could do to help? I'm in the neighborhood. I'm talking to other, owners all the time. And I just want to offer my service for you for that. If you don't want to do that, I would say step 4, I would say is phone call outreach. Now, here's the caveat here. You need to check the do not call registry. Make sure that you are in compliance with that. Run their number on that database. You need to make sure that they're not on that database before you make that call. Now, if they've inquired about you or they've sent you a message and they have engaged with you directly, then okay, they have asked for a service, right? So you can then make the call. But otherwise, I would avoid this. That's again why I would go back to that in-person touch is a much, much, much better way overall anyway. But here it goes. You can say something very similar to what we said before. Hello, this is Adam Gullett with Century 21 Advantage Realty. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time. I came across your property and noticed its great potential. I just want to let you know that I've successfully helped some clients buy some homes and sell their homes in your area very quickly and at the right price. I would really love to share some insights and strategies with you, even if you're planning to continue selling on your own. Would you be okay with that? And you can use that same script as an in-person script. That's fine. An email. Let's say you got their email address, and maybe this is like the third follow-up. Maybe you've done the door knock and they've inquired some information and you've had some phone conversations or whatever it may be. But let's just say it's a cold one and you want to send an email. So you could put in the subject line something like unlocking the full potential of your property sale or looking to help. I see that you're trying to sell your house. Something along that in the subject line. And you can say, hi, owner's name. I came across your property and was impressed by its charm. As a seasoned real estate professional with a track record of successful sales in the area, I wanted to reach out and offer some insights that could maximize your selling experience. Or if you haven't actually had any sales in the area, you can say or you can mention, hey, my entire team. I've got a whole team of agents behind me. And then you could say, I have an extensive network of serious buyers, or we have an extensive network of serious buyers actively seeking properties like yours. And my negotiation skills could help you secure a great deal. Let's discuss how we can work together to achieve your goals. Looking forward to connecting, and then put your name and contact information. This is kind of just a very easy approach. And I'm going to end with this. It's not complicated. This is no different than you just having a casual conversation with a friend. You need to approach it that way. A lot of times I notice a lot of people door knocking, they want to just win the deal right then and there. That's just not how it's done, especially with for sale by owners. For sale by owners, they have a confidence there. They have I'm not going to say a pride, but there's an element of pride there that they think they can do it all on their own. And then there's also the for sale by owner that's just been burnt. They've been burnt by agents that just didn't do what they said they were going to do. They didn't communicate well. they couldn't sell their properties, those type of things. And so there's a lot of sometimes emotional baggage on the for sale by owner side. You need to be very understanding of that, and approach it very delicately, and just look at it as I'm trying to help them, right? And get to know them. Just get to know everything you can about them in the property. And over time, you'll win them over. But I will say this has a better effect. The way you really begin to close for sale by owners is by being involved in the communities that they're in. So if you market to a certain specific market area, get to know everybody in that area and just constantly provide, value back. If you do mail outs or you door knock in those streets and you hand stuff out, it's going to have a lot better. It's going to be a whole lot easier for you to convert a for sale by owner over to list with you when you see a for sale by owner go up in the area you've already been marketing to. So if you really want to go after them, I say door knock, just spread helpful information to just general neighborhoods. Then monitor those neighborhoods for sale by owners, and chances are they're already going to know who you are. So the soft opening has already been taken care of. And then you can just knock on the door and say, hey, you've probably seen some of my mailings, or you've seen me before. I see that you're trying to sell your house on your own. That's amazing. No problem there. But I did want to kind of get some more information if I can. And, I do have buyers, or my team has buyers, those type of conversations. So don't overcomplicate it. But there's a lot out there. These people do want to sell. They want to sell their home.